Hey guys, what's up and welcome to Building Kashyyyk in LEGO week 2. Guys, this week is very exciting. We are going to actually be starting the tree, the main Wookiee tree that's going to be at least a couple feet tall. I'm trying to go for 6 feet tall for this, but we're going to be starting the beginning stages of that, and as well as working on the main beach as well, adding a lot of more battle details, Wookiee barriers, and much more. Now guys, remember to subscribe for new episodes of Building Kashyyyk every Friday, and let's get into it. Alright guys, to start off this week of Building Kashyyyk in LEGO, we're going to start on the left-hand side of the MOC as we worked on the full kind of display of everything else in the MOC. As we worked on the main shoreline here, just kind of getting the outline last week, which is looking super awesome. I got a few comments about some things I'm going to improve upon the way, but we'll get that here in a little bit. But for right now, I want to work on the left-hand side of kind of starting the tree outline area and the kind of concrete kind of built-in Kashyyyk little wall that's going to go all the way across, except for this little part right here where the actual tree will kind of jut out a little bit, but it'll go across, as you can see right here from kind of some reference images, the whole entire bit of the actually Wookiee tree, which is going to be really, really cool. As you can see here, I put a lot of platforms out. The colors don't really matter too much what's underneath here, but this will be all covered up with like greenery and tiles and all this sorts of stuff, and started getting the shaping of what the wall is going to look like. Now this is something quite unique that I haven't really seen anyone do for their Kashyyyk like Wookiee trees. So this is gonna be really fun kind of task, and I've been using like these little wedge bricks that are going to create a nice little shape since it kind of goes in and out. It's not really perfectly like a straight wall, so that's going to look really nice, and I can't wait to actually just try to overall just kind of get the shaping of it as we work on it, and then try to actually put some detailing and fix this whole area up. And then once we get this kind of area kind of done and finished up, we're going to go all the way around, or at least try to go like all the way up to like here to sorts, and then keep working on the main beach area, at least for right now, as we're going to start off this week of Building Kashyyyk in LEGO. So I spent a little bit of time now creating and kind of getting the outline of how we want the kind of the Wookiee tree to kind of start coming to life. And as we pan out here, as you've seen from the time lapse, I have kind of worked on the detailing of trying to get like the grass kind of look kind of blended into the actual wall here, which I'm going to put a bunch of plants and other kind of items and stuff all over here. But this is just kind of like the basic look of what we have so far, and as well worked on the actual beach here, kind of continuing it down the line. But as you can see here, I kind of added a bunch of different kind of wedge for olive green and kind of blending it in to the actual dark green color, which I'll do some more blending in later, but I wanted to show y'all just kind of the initial kind of base layer. We have this little bits of sand that kind of cut in here. We kind of add some abnormality to it, which I really wanted to add here, and it goes all the way down across the wall here, and I think it looks really cool, especially once you go back a little bit and you kind of see like the blending of all of like the colors and stuff, kind of adding some variation in color, obviously from the dark tan and the regular light tan and stuff like that. I think it's looking really well, as well as adding an extra layer to the wall, since this is how tall this wall is going to be, but the walls on the actual other side over there are going to be much taller, and they're going to be actually 2 different layers. But yeah, I put some minifigures here to give y'all a look of how this is turning out. Now I'm going to try to continue to work on more of the beach going this way, because with me not having the actual tree built up yet, I need to build that up, and then I can start detailing the actual inner part of this, because then I'll do the tree first, then do the inside of this, which we'll see later on. But I also want to show y'all some reference. So if y'all have any kind of like Lego Star Wars MOC you want to make, I would highly encourage you to get the would highly encourage you to get the actual Star Wars locations book. Now this one is the Wookiee tree, and kind of giving me some inspiration of what I'm actually making. As you can see here, his is kind of the, obviously the concept of what I'm working on. I'm actually working on this section over here, where you see there's a slight little wall that goes across there, and this is like where the grass and everything, and then this will be the next section we work on. There's like the big tree trunk that comes down, and then everything else with the wall and everything else, two different layers, and the staircases and stuff that go into the actual mighty Wookiee tree. So that's what we're gonna be kind of working on right there. So you can kind of see the idea, and I think that's really coming to life. Very nice. Now let's get back into some work. So I went ahead and made some tremendous kind of progress on at least the details of the first initial starting point of the tree. As you can see here, I have started building the first little tree kind of root that's going to be coming up, starting just like very low, kind of sliding its up way up here, and then starting into the main tree. And I'm really loving all the details. Of course, we have like a staircase here, because this is how the Wookiees will get up onto at least this platform on this side, which is really exciting. Kind of basic, just kind of tile stairs there. But as you can see, as I started doing the actual sloping for the tree root, I kind of sloped it up using a mixture of dark brown and regular brown pieces, and some studs on the side technique with some of the more unique kind of darker brown pieces on the side, as you can see right there. And I'm really loving how that's turning out. As you see a little Wookiee there, give you a little perspective. Then I went through and I've made the actual bushes and all the fauna that will be going on the first initial bit. And I think it looks so good right here along the wall side. Again, still have a lot to actually finish for this side, but this is just kind of the first initial progress, and I'm absolutely loving how this is turning out. At least kind of starting the tree over there and kind of working on all the bushes. As you can see here, I put a mixture of a bunch of different kind of plants, like these little plants right here that I actually never used before, and I really love them, as well as some of these other olive green kind of bushes and just regular kind of greenery, kind of mixture to kind of get a really nice kind of look, at least to me, across at least this for the Wookiee kind of plants and stuff like that. But now it's time to actually, I think, continue to try to maybe work on the tree a little bit more and continue like this area over here, because I think that's mainly what we need to be doing, at least getting the shaping of what we want everything to look like. Guys, it's been a little bit of time now kind of working on the actual layout of the tree, and I have to say it is looking pretty awesome so far. As you can see right here, I've started to work on the first initial like kind of root of the actual tree itself, and kind of getting into some of the details here. Obviously, I put kind of some branches or like some vines going down. I think that adds a nice little touch. I'll try to do that more often in the like the lower parts of the tree and kind of going up more. And what I'm gonna be doing for the actual tree itself is gonna be a mixture of kind of slopes and inverted slopes, kind of building up one by one and getting a nice kind of natural looking tree element to really like how that is looking overall. On going to keep building that up and up. And as you can see here, I've kind of built it all the way across, trying to get the actual just kind of outline of what we want it to look like, and kind of coming down, and it kind of breaks off right here, and this giant root will kind of come out into the actual beach area here, which will kind of separate this area from the actual other area, where there'll be like two different levels and like some Wookiee huts and all sorts of stuff over on this side of the Moc. But if we kind of come on this side, you can kind of see where I've kind of been building up on the back, trying to keeping it level where I have all the tan on this bottom part, and kind of building up the actual brown on the back of the tree. And for the back of the tree, at least for this little bit, I just been building it up with kind of green brick, and I'm gonna kind of need to get some more actual kind of filler brick as I go on throughout, if I can actually get a main structure of what the tree will be, because it's again, it's gonna be like 6 feet tall, so this is going to be a major project. But again, I filled in this whole area of the dark green, and it looks so cool. I'm really loving how that's looking so far. I put a little clone trooper there. Let me know down below if I should add some more greenery like this kind of onto the second level. I kind of think the second level should be kind of like maybe the Wookiees kind of keep it kind of more kept clean or something like that. I don't know. I'll probably add some more like foliage details, but there'll definitely be some kind of like, there's like some of the Wookiee generators or some of their kind of machinery that's going to be up on here, and maybe like a smaller Wookiee hut. We'll have to wait. I have to kind of wait and see what kind of works best for the actual like timing of everything. But I'm really loving how this is kind of turning out, and it just looks so cool so far. At least kind of starting the area of the tree and kind of getting an idea of what we want it to look like, at least for like the main idea of what we have for Kashyyyk here. Now I think what I'm gonna do is kind of work more on the actual root part of the tree, trying to get that kind of shaped out as well, and then maybe work more and kind of getting the beach here kind of filled out as well. I'm really loving how the progress is looking so far for the beginning of the tree. So it's the next day, and I put a few aspects on top of the actual like first little Wookiee layer, kind of where the first civilization is going to be kind of start to kind of sprout and take place before we get into the tree. As you can see here, there's 3 kind of different elements. This is going to be where one of the kind of Wookiee like generators are going to be. I'll show you all a picture of what that kind of exactly will look like. It will definitely be a lot taller. You see that in like a little bit of scenes in Revenge of the Sith, and especially in Battlefront 2. And these little poles right here will actually be the Wookiee processing plants that you kind of see in the visual dictionary. So I'm going to put those right there. It's kind of not a final design at all. And then over here is the beginning of one of these smaller Wookiee huts kind of on the bottom layer. There's going to be like at least like 4 or 5 more over there, but this is the one that's going to be over here. And I'm quite like the first initial kind of ground base design of at least getting the shaping, because the Wookiee huts are very round shaped and they'll be built up. And then I already have kind of a roof prototype over there, as you can kind of see. It's kind of a rudimentary right now, but we'll kind of work on that a little bit later. But I'm really loving how the kind of base looks, using these big kind of slope pieces with other kind of rounded pieces on the bottom. And then I actually built this little ramp. I think it looks quite nice as well. Pretty simple, but effective nonetheless. Kind of, we'll just get right there, and it's a little ramp where the Wookiees will walk on and kind of get into their little home before they get into like the main actual tree. But yeah, we'll get working on that probably a little bit later, but I really love that we actually have like a whole like little Wookiee little civilization kind of starting before we get to the main tree, which is something I really want to be unique to my Kashyyyk Moc. Now getting over to here, we kind of worked more on the at least the first initial bit of like the big kind of root pieces that'll kind of come up into the main tree, kind of getting the shaping of what we want that to exactly look like. Nothing too crazy going on right now. I need to actually get more kind of plate to get on the bottom, and then we'll continue to kind of build that up. But another thing I've been working on a lot is actually getting the main beach area over here more finished out. As you can see, it's kind of gone way more over there. And I've actually gone through and made the second layer of what we want the beach to look like, at least for the second layer of sand, which is looking quite nice. I'm gonna try to fill in. We're gonna see where that kind of happens, but as you can see here, this is where more of the tread pieces will go, kind of figure that out, and they'll try to make more explosions and kind of debris details, as well as I added a few different rock little pieces, as you can kind of see along the at least first initial half of the beach, kind of going all the way across. Because I was looking through, and there's definitely a lot of like different kind of rocks and kind of different kind of abnormalities to the beach itself. It's not all flat and like kind of clean. There's definitely a lot of rocks and kind of debris on it. So I would be trying to add more aspects like that to the overall look of the beach. But let's get back to work on the actual kind of beach section and maybe figure out more what we want to do for the actual main root pieces for the main Kashyyyk tree. Guys, it's finally here, our first Wookiee hut of Kashyyyk, and I have to say I really am loving how this turned out. I've never really seen people like add this in their Kashyyyk Mocs, at least not like this, and like I'm have definitely multiple different versions and different types of those on the other side of the Wookiee tree, but here's the first one we have here. And I'll kind of show you my process of how I designed it. First, we have a kind of a Wookiee walking out there, and we have a little ramp, which I thought turned out really nice, kind of simplistic little ramp that gets up on their Wookiee kind of design here. It's very circular in nature, and it kind of goes all the way up into this large kind of more circular dome piece up on the top and goes up to a little antenna. You know, you got to communicate with the other Wookiees, of course. I have a few like little vines and stuff, because you see from Battlefront 2, there's a lot of different vines and stuff on top of these Wookiee huts. Now you actually can take off the roof. So let's take off the roof right here. And inside, I kind of wanted to let y'all decide what will be going on inside of here. Not too much space, As you can see, I have a little pot full of water and I have a little chest in there, but let me know down below what I could actually add inside the Wookiee hut to give it kind of a personal flair. But here how I kind of designed the actual doors. Pretty simple, but I feel like it really captures just kind of the Wookiee hut in general. And there'll be multiples of these, like I said earlier, throughout the whole thing, but really loving. There's also the other ramp on the other side. We have another Wookiee coming across there. So now here's the topper here, just kind of adding different circular Lego pieces to give it a really nice shape overall. And you can just pop it on just like this. It just sits on top and perfect. We have our Wookiee hut. I kind of fix it there a little bit. There's our Wookiee hut kind of station there, looking all very nice. For against the actual giant tree, it'll be like pretty minuscule whenever we get to actually building the tree itself. But loving how this is turning out. Now it's time to actually, I think it's time to finish this whole row for the beach. So I've spent some time working on some aspects of Kashyyyk to kind of finish off the week here. As you can see, we have this whole completed section done after 2 weeks of working, at least this little bit of the section done. And I have to say it's looking super cool, really massive bit. At least this whole beach area over here is fully complete. Now we're gonna begin on the tree in the next coming couple of weeks. I need to get more 16 by 16 plate where I can raise up that whole area for the tree and begin building on everything, because I have enough slopes and brown pieces and everything to work on that. But as you can see, I've been continuing to work on the rest of the beach here, which I actually want to dive into a little bit of details. So I spent some time actually working on these Wookiee barricades. I actually got distracted. You actually see these are in like the very front of the beach, kind of withholding the droid tanks from coming up from the beach. Doesn't really work too well, I guess, because they definitely get through, but they're like these little Wookiee barriers that I think look really awesome. And what I did is I just got 4 of these kind of modified bricks here on the front, which I think gives a nice kind of shape, and then just put like this little hinge brick on the back as well, and just kind of put it at a nice angle. So you're gonna pop these wherever you want. I'll make at least maybe like 20 of these. They'll go across the beach, and I have some Wookiees up here in the front. Really love how I made those, and I feel like they're just like the perfect size, because they're much bigger than a minifigure, but not too much bigger. So I feel like that actually works quite well. Now on the actual more beach details for the battle scenes, I've actually went and redid and made this extra section for the tread pieces where the droid snell tanks will come through, and it looks really awesome. As you can see, I kind of started the first one over here from last week, and it's really smooth and everything. But the reason why I have all the smooth sand with the tile is that you can really add the effect that the sand has been like damaged or run through or some kind of effect. So I think that looks really, really cool. We really love it. Added that. Added another little ground explosion where explosion was, kind of the black in the sand and hole in the ground, different wedge pieces and everything to give it that nice look. As well, I made an explosion in the ground here with some of the clear translucent plates, kind of making it look like the sand is flying up in the air, some fire and everything. And then for next week and kind of the weeks going forward, I'm going to finish this part over here. I'm going to redo that, finish the rest of this beach part, and then continue to actually get into like the main like battle sequence where we have like the Wookiee like barricades where the Wookiees are all like hyping up, because there's going to be like 5 of those different Wookiee barricades across the whole beach here, and then continuing to kind of get the like the base or like the at least outer bit of the tree done, kind of getting this other section, like it'll be another section sort of like this, except it's going to be 2 levels high on this side, and then actually starting to build up the main tree, which is super exciting. But made a ton of awesome work, at least for 2 weeks of building Kashyyyk, and it is just going to be so much fun actually putting all like the battle sequence together. But yeah, this is looking awesome so far, guys. Now guys, I think it's time to go out to the outro. Now guys, that is it for week 2 of Building Kashyyyk in LEGO. Hope you all had a great time. Let me know down below if there's any changes or anything y'all want me to add when I'm building Kashyyyk. I read all your comments and they're greatly appreciated. Hope you have a great and blessed day, guys, because next week is going to be really big. We're going to continue to work on the tree and actually may get into the main Wookiee like barriers where you see them all like march over and stuff like that. And then we'll get into a bunch of minifigure details, but much more to come, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.